The Fortress, a short story. Chapter 10 and 11. Left Hand. Dizzy tasted the hot dogs he ate and the cherry fruit punch. He sat in front of the broken television and imagined his own versions of his favorite TV shows over the curved glass, projecting them in his mind as if his eyes emitted the light. When he finished, he ran to the kitchen and rinsed his plate. Mother was out back, fending off flies from her food, reading a western under the oak tree. Dizzy peeked around the corner of the house and watched if Mother noticed. Mother leaned back in the chair and snoozed, the book propped up on her knee. The birds chirped, and a few squirrels gave Mother a wide margin. For a week, Dizzy tried to find a right-handed hammer. Daddy told him that if he used any other hammer in the shed, Dizzy would break it. You see, there are right-handed hammers and left-handed hammers. If a right-handed person uses a left-handed hammer, just the same with a screwdriver and pliers, they'll break the hammer. Daddy, they look the same. I know they do, but they made the hammers, so they know better than you or I. What a silly thing. It sounds silly, but I'm serious. But you're not left-handed. I am both. Dizzy laughed. I never see you. All the tools where I work at are all left-handed. The big boss there is left-handed. I wouldn't want to get fired for breaking his tools, so I use my left hand at work. When I'm home, I use my right hand. You told me all the tools here are left-handed. I use my left hand, but you said you used your right hand. Daddy, I don't get it. Daddy looked into Dizzy's eyes. If you don't break any of my tools, I promise I will bring you your own right-handed hammer. In the following weeks, Dizzy waited. His projects grew overgrown. After a month, Dizzy decided to risk breaking one of Daddy's tools and to use one of the left-handed hammers. Boy, loyal as a dog. Since Dizzy hadn't messed with Father's tools, Father left them unlocked. Mother wasn't interested in the matter and paid little mind if Dizzy was in the shed or not. Dizzy found the nearest hammer and grabbed it. In an instant, he dropped it to the ground and waited for it to break into pieces. He picked it up again and looked over every inch of the hammer for a tag or warning. Caution, left-hand use only. There was no warning. Maybe a right-handed hammer turns into a left-handed hammer if a left-handed person used it. Was that how it was broken? Had it been a ploy to keep Dizzy from using the tools? That meant Daddy lied. Boy, loyal as a dog, Dizzy couldn't consider the possibility of Daddy lying. Dizzy held the hammer with caution. The opening he cut into the blackberries didn't grow from just his imagination or plans. Dizzy struggled with the thorns of effort, regardless of the lack of tools. Getting dirty and having to explain himself if he got chewed up by the thorns was often his biggest concern. If someone knew what he was up to, they would discover the tools. If they discovered the tools, Daddy would be angry. He visualized his deep mine shaft, rooms formed under the spiked vines, where he could reach from underneath and pluck berries safe from the birds. There were few berries deep under the brush, where blossoms had little sunlight, but they were there, hidden like treasure. The blackberry mass had been burned back twice, the last time nearly 4 years ago. It was near time for a third burning. Dizzy didn't want to strive to build something just for it to be burned down. This risk saved him from the obligation of effort. Dizzy moved some of the scrap boards off the grass where the wind had knocked them over. He leaned the bigger boards back against the blackberry wall and collected tools left in the grass. Diz, where'd you get those? Dizzy froze as Mother scolded him from the corner of the house. You know what noise the old man will make if he sees those in the grass. Dizzy brushed them off and carried them into the house. Mother was adamant about Dizzy getting Father's tools back before he got home. He'll be here any time now. Father was a few hours late. He usually got in just before dawn, and now it was nearly lunchtime. Mother started to worry. Get them cleaned off. I'll make sure they get into the shed. You know where I got them? Not in the toolbox. I'll just throw them in. Can't be any different than the rest of that mess. Hero. Boy loyal as a dog. Father's best friend. Dizzy waited at the top of the driveway. He watched for any car to roll up. In the meantime, he collected some small army men and a pocketful of die-cast metal cars from his coffee can under the big pine. He played in the driveway, in the dirt ruts spread out from the exposed tree roots. The roots looked like half-buried chicken bones. He projected onto the dirt his television fantasies, his second-hand toys chipped and scratched, portraying a diligent reality television rarely portrayed. The play was a scenario he acted out from before, from a favorite television show. There was a soft pleasure in advancing a prized theme, a plot to throw the hero into a deep ravine and crush him with rocks. He ran the hero's car over the edge of the soft soil, where a hand-carved road was cut short. It was his favorite car, metal flake blue with yellow windows, the plastic wheels scratched into a soft pulverized texture, the chrome plating rubbed away. The villain's car was a fire truck, Dizzy's least favorite toy, large and bulbous, the axles bent to where the wheels hardly turned, the red paint chipped at all corners. It was a gift from grandmother, who always smelled of Band-Aids and cigarettes. There was no irony in grandmother puffing on a Pall Mall while giving her grandson a toy fire truck. The play was set in stop motion, left hand for the villain and right hand for the hero, timing everything out of memory from the last time the television worked. The television had a childish sense of purpose. The overwrought plots were thinned and watered to pass away 40 minutes, reconstituted with urbane violence and exacerbated language to mask the vapid filler between commercials. When he stopped his play, he saw the ground under his activity growing complex, where he cut more roads into the dirt with his fingers. He looked down the drive. A car passed by. He followed it down the highway with his imagination. Dizzy looked up into the sky. The afternoon grew hot as the breeze lifted off. He collected his toys and went to lunch.